Hi everybody, welcome back. This video is about 5 blocks to creativity. Have you ever felt like your creative juices have totally dried up? You don't have any more business ideas or creative ideas? Here's a question you need to ask yourself. Do you know why you feel so inspired when you've gone to see a movie or some live music or gone to a museum or gone to the theater? That's because you've taken yourself out of output mode. You've put yourself into input mode. If you stay in output mode too long, you end up developing writer's block or designer's block. That's when block happens. There's this great story told by Gordon MacKenzie, who wrote one of my favorite books. It's called Orbiting the Giant Hairball. And in it, he describes how, and don't take offense at this, designers are like cows. Designers are like cows because if you keep them in the barn and milk them for their design work for too long, they end up going dry. You have to let cows out of the barn into the pasture so they can graze and get sunshine and get some exercise for them to keep producing. And that's just the way it is with entrepreneurs and with designers. You really have to put yourself periodically into input mode, because if you're constantly in output mode, you're going to dry up. So that is the number one block to creativity. You're not making time for input. If you're not constantly studying your craft and taking in input and inspiration, where do you think all that brilliance is going to come from? It's just like going to the gym. You can't go to the gym and lift weights for 10 hours and not eat. You have to constantly feed yourself. The second block to creativity is you aren't sleeping. Sleep deprivation can lead to some pretty incredible aha moments, but 99.9% of the time, sleep is your best friend. It's not about sleep per se. It's about giving your brain a chance to rest and process. When you sleep, your brain actually keeps working. And what it does is it processes all the input that it's had during that time where you've been awake. And it decides what it's going to remember, and it decides what it's going to forget. So you have to give your brain that chance to process all the input that you've had. You basically have to allow the engine to cool down so it can work better. Number 3 is you aren't surrounding yourself with creative people. You are the product of your environment, the environment that surrounds you. You're influenced by and you're inspired by and you learn by the people around you. Environment plays a huge role in our development as human beings. So if you want to be truly creative, you need to surround yourself with other creative people who are creative in their own ways. People who will push how you think about things, or people who push back on what you're doing and make you think about things in a different way and challenge your own patterns of thought. The number 4 block to creativity is you aren't mastering your emotions. Your emotions are mastering you. Some of the greatest works of art and design have been produced from heartbreak and tragedy. But when it comes right down to it, if you're being driven by your emotions, you're not achieving your greatest creativity. And what I mean by that is it's one thing to be depressed, but it's a whole nother thing to be depressed, but to be able to witness that emotion and transmute it into something that's creative or productive. There's an amazing book by an author named Eckhart Tolle. I'll put the title in the description. It's called The Power of Now. And he talks in this book about how we need to learn to witness and stand outside of our emotions and observe ourselves from a distance. That way we can control how we feel and have the emotions, but not be limited by them and not be driven by them. And the number 5 block to creativity is you aren't practicing. The simplest but the most important habit to have to increase and improve your creativity is practicing. You might be naturally creative, but if you aren't actively practicing, the muscle of your creativity is going to get weak. If you hold yourself to some standard that you once performed at and you're not able to replicate it time and again, it's because you aren't practicing. Segovia, the really famous classical guitarist, used to sit in his hotel room and do the most rudimentary guitar scales before he had a major concert. He was one of the most accomplished guitarists in the world, and he practiced the most basic exercises in order to keep his skills honed. You must be practicing in order to cultivate and grow and improve your creativity. So from Verhaal Brand Design, my strategic branding and design agency, thank you so much for watching. Remember, if you need help building or repairing your brand, make sure to visit me at VanDusen.com. Let's talk about what I can do to help you reach your business goals, your professional goals. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit subscribe below so you can see my videos when they come out. Thanks again, and bye for now.